postgame show, only heard here on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
Heart disease won't stop us. Diabetes, allergies, cancer. Nothing will keep the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network from pushing Wisconsin ahead. We're constantly raising the bar for medical excellence and providing more ways to receive it, so you have it for all your health needs, big and small. Let's push ahead, and we'll make life here as great as it can be. Visit Freighter.com to find out how.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
We see you out there being an original, which is why you shop at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, because you know we have everything you want and need at prices that give you the most for your money. Now that we're past the holidays, it's time to gift yourself 2 packs of queen-size pillows, just $9.99. Shop Blaine's Farm and Fleet automotive or power sport batteries, and Blaine's brand cat litter pails, $14.99. Rewards members save an extra buck. Find the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Day after day, year after year, the heavy lifting, the repetitive motion, and now your body feels it. Your back, your knees, your quality of life.
At Access Legal, we stand up for people worn down by work.
Workers' comp is our sole focus, and our team has recovered more than $35 million for Wisconsin workers. From sudden accidents to pain that builds over years of hard work, we're dedicated to fighting for the benefits you're entitled to. If you've been worn down by work, contact Access Legal for a risk-free consultation.
Search AXIS Legal today.
Now that the game is done, it's our time to check in.
Kick out to Rollins, now to Kuzma, squeezes up a three, released it. Kyle Kuzma delivers the long one.
Let's Talk starts now.
Lobs up top to Giannis, who stuffs it down. The Bucks back ahead by 1.
And now, live from Fiserv Forum, here's Justin Garcia.
Well, to say the Bucks really needed this one is an understatement. A disappointing outcome on Wednesday to close out the calendar year of 2025 in that loss to the Washington Wizards. And this was, again, another one of those stretches on the schedule that I know we have pointed to a couple of times and said, this is your opportunity to start to go on a run here and group together some wins and start to pull yourself out of that portion of the standings the Bucks currently find themselves in. You couldn't do it. You couldn't start a win streak with your third straight victory on Wednesday. And now we're right back in that same spot where I hesitate to even mention this, but hey, it's a 4-game West Coast road trip. Sometimes these trips can galvanize a team, and suddenly the opponents on that schedule for the road trip don't look quite as daunting as they did at one point. But at some point, you need to find that consistency. And maybe, just maybe, we look back at this game against the Charlotte Hornets, the way the Bucks won, the plays they made down the stretch, the late-game execution that was actually there this time, and say, hey, this is where this group started to find their footing. 855-616-1620 is the Signing Unlimited talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk, as you got a 30-point game from Giannis, 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. The 158th time in his career he has finished with 30 or more points, 10 or more rebounds, and 5 or more assists. That is the most in NBA history. Still on a minutes restriction, as he was at about 29, I believe, tonight. Giannis certainly impactful when you look at the plus-minus numbers. Same can be said for Ryan Rollins, who finished with 29 points in this game, 6 double-digit scores for the Bucks. But one of the bigger pieces to all of this, I thought, was, number one, the defense by Ryan Rollins all night long on LaMelo Ball. He was efficient, 11 of 13 shooting, 6 of 7 on threes. But Ryan Rollins and Kevin Porter Jr., as basically your co-point guards in the backcourt, finished with 18 assists and 2 turnovers in this game. So it's not must-win territory, but you really needed this win tonight. The Bucks got it. Now can they start to build on this? 855-616-1620, the Siding Unlimited talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. We'll get to the rest of the numbers. And as I mentioned, preview this 4-game West Coast road trip coming up after this.
This is Bucks Talk.
A new year brings new opportunities. Time to live your life to the fullest, right? You want to tackle this new year with new vigor, not with the same old joint pain. Back is acting up again, or that knee pain, or the hip, there it is. Make your resolution to do something about that joint pain. Call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics right here in Milwaukee can help your body repair the areas that are causing you the pain. Remember, there's no surgery, there's no painkillers, or a whole bunch of downtime afterward. It's not invasive, and it's not going to sideline you for months. It's QC Kinetics. This month is supposed to be your clean slate, so make it one. Stop managing the pain and start solving the problem with QC Kinetics. Here's what you can do. You can call QC Kinetics right now and set yourself up for a free consultation. 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559. Start the new year with a clean slate and join pain-free. Call QC Kinetics today.
Start the new year right with Norwalk Furniture on sale now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 35% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options and comfort levels, from cuddling to extra firm support. Norwalk Furniture's American roots go back over 102 years. For better quality American-made upholstery, shop the Norwalk Upholstery Sale at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown. Better days start with a better night's sleep on a mattress from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in Milwaukee, our mattresses are custom built to your needs. We have all the comfort and firmness options to give you your best night's rest. Buying direct from our factory showrooms will save you up to 50% compared to national brands. Shop today during our New Year's sale at Ken Michaels Furniture for over 75 years of uncompromising quality, local factory direct saving, and your best night's sleep.
The holiday season is here, and the countdown to 2026 has begun at Lake Lawn Resort. With all the holiday stress happening these days, imagine waking up next to a cozy fire in your own private suite along the shoreline of Delavan Lake. Enjoy much-deserved pampering at the award-winning Caladora Spa and special holiday dining options throughout the resort all month long, including at the signature 1878 on the lake. Book your holiday escape today, and don't forget to purchase those last-minute gift cards and receive free bonus money at Lake Lawn Resort, where the spirit of the season comes to life and everything is truly better at the lake.
Welcome back to Bucks Talk.
$122 to 121 are final tonight. The Bucks win a close game. Win down the stretch. It would have been very cruel to close 2025 and then open 2026 in the same manner with a game-winning shot by the opponent in the closing seconds. So maybe this is something you can use as a springboard as you go onto a 4-game road trip now, where, again, the opponents there, and the difficulty is going to be for a team that has struggled to win away from Milwaukee this season. But you're facing the Sacramento Kings to start this, a Kings team that is playing as we speak down 24 points in Phoenix against the Suns. They continue to play without Domantas Sabonis, do the Sacramento Kings, and it's been very Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan heavy. So you can imagine not a whole lot of outside shooting or shot creation in that sense for this group. It's a winnable game for the Bucks to start this road trip on a high note. Then you go to San Francisco after 2 days off to take on the Golden State Warriors, who are playing tonight without three big pieces. Steph Curry had an ankle issue that he suffered on Wednesday night. Said it was precautionary measures for him missing this game, but we'll keep an eye on it with his history of ankle injuries. Jimmy Butler out with an illness and Draymond Green out for rest purposes. But again, this is a Warriors team that has basically been a 500 team this season and currently down 19 at the half against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then you have the Los Angeles Lakers, who by the numbers in terms of the standings have been a good team this season. Right now the Lakers up there as a playoff team in the Western Conference, in the top 6 of the conference, and number 5 right now, 20 wins, 11 losses. They have a negative point differential. Through those 31 games, Lakers are being outscored by about a half a point per game, and that's because their losses have been historically bad. This Lakers team, in those 11 defeats, those have come by an average of just under 19 points per game. And when you put it in context, the Washington Wizards are getting outscored by 18.8 points per game this season. They're 8-24, and they won tonight, so that number torpedoed now. 9-24. Prior to the win tonight against the Brooklyn Nets, they were being outscored by just under 19 points in every game and an 8-24 record. The Lakers are being outscored by that in their losses. The Dallas Mavericks in 1992-93 were outscored by 18.4 points per game in losses. That was the worst mark ever over an entire season. And there were 71 losses that year for the Mavericks. So this has been historically bad for the Lakers. When they win, they win. When they're losing, they are getting run off the floor. And you know there will be no Austin Reeves in that game next week between the Bucks and the Lakers. So it's been a very Jekyll and Hyde Lakers team all season long. That's what you're going to have to deal with. And then you wrap up the road trip in Denver 1 week from Sunday against the Denver Nuggets, who may get one or two of the starters they're playing without back by the time that game rolls around. But they won't have Nikola Jokic, and they won't have Cam Johnson. Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown are both close to a return, but Jokic is going to miss at least a month. And now Jonas Valanciunas, in his first game filling in for Nikola Jokic, goes down as well. So he's going to miss at least a month. So you're catching some of these teams at the right time in that sense. And even with Denver, if we can forecast it even beyond this, the 4-week timeline for Nikola Jokic means not only are you not going to face the Nuggets with him this Sunday, or next Sunday, I should say. The second and final game between the Bucks and the Nuggets this season is January 23rd here in Milwaukee. Nikola Jokic is not going to play in that game either. So you need some of these breaks to go your way. You need to win, right? You need to be an active participant in your own rescue. We mentioned that last year after the 2-8 start. You have to take things into your own hands. You got to play better. You got to win. You need some breaks. You need some luck. And the Bucks are starting to get some of that opening up for them as well. So can you finally seize advantage of this? And I know it is something we have said many times this season, and we've yet to see the team do it. But it is truly now or never for this group when you look at how late we are suddenly getting into this schedule here. And Giannis himself said after the disappointing loss to the Washington Wizards on Wednesday night after the game, look, this next month between now and the first week in February leading into the All-Star break, first 10 days or so leading into the All-Star break, and really take it a step beyond that, the next 5 weeks, if you look at all of January and that first week of February, which carries you up to the trade deadline, this is going to determine what we do. And if we're a team that starts to figure out who we are, find our identity, start to win some games, and start to slowly climb in the standings in the Eastern Conference, or are we the inconsistent group that we've seen for the first 30-plus games this season, and we have our answer there of what this group is and what we should or should not do for the remainder of this season. 855-616-1620, the Siding Unlimited talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. Filled with dramatics tonight, and a lot of big plays down the stretch, and a lot that was packed into the final 10 seconds of this game. But the Bucks able to pull it out, knock off the Charlotte Hornets tonight to get to 15-20 on the season, and we'll see if they can start a win streak. Now, why this was a potential for disaster tonight for the Bucks, not just with a loss, but everything else that happened tonight. We'll dig into those scenarios coming up after this on Bucks Talk.
You're listening to Bucks Talk.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in, it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Well, look at you.
You look handsome in that suit.
Sorry, no time for pleasantries. I have a very important meeting.
What's with all the forms and charts?
I'm meeting with the SEC.
The Securities and Exchange Commission?
Why?
To register Penny Mustard's Spencer bedroom as a security.
I'm sorry, what?
Think about it. How do we build the Spencer bedroom?
With solid wood construction.
Forever type bed brackets.
And drawer bottoms strong enough to stand on.
And how long will it last?
For generations.
And furniture that lasts for generations is worth
more money in the future.
So you're saying the Spencer bedroom is a hedge against inflation?
I gotta say, you've had a lot of weird ideas.
Yeah?
But this one might just work.
The Spencer bedroom, starting at just $173 a month with no interest till December 2028 through January 4th at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Hey, John Mercure here for Mend Studios. You deserve to feel better. You deserve to feel healthy. You deserve to feel great about yourself. Mend Studios has a long-term wellness as the goal. That's how they're going to do it. That's how they're going to take care of you. I know and trust the therapists at Mend Studio. They customize every single treatment, and they've got multiple locations. They're in Mequon and Brookfield, both convenient, both easy to get to. Start at the website, mendstudio.com. I never feel better than I do after a session at Mend. Mendstudio.com.
It's time to get organized this new year with Menards. Update your closet system and add style today with Closet Culture. Choose from 2 closet finishes and 4 colors of shelf boards to create a functional yet stylish closet solution that matches your home decor. Check out all our Closet Culture closet kits or view our weekly flyer on Menards.com to see all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
The Roundball Repartee returns. This is Bucks Talk.
(122-121) our final tonight. The Bucks take down the Charlotte Hornets in a game full of ups and downs, back and forth, especially in the fourth quarter in the final 10 seconds of this game. But the Bucks get back in the win column with this win tonight behind 30 points from Giannis. 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. It's the 158th time in his career he finishes with 30, 10, and 5. That is the most in NBA history. Ryan Rollins, huge tonight as well. And a big second half, especially from Kevin Porter Jr., who came up with some big moments, including what proved to be the game winner on that feed to Giannis on the alley-oop there with about 5 seconds left. 855-616-1620 is the Siding Unlimited talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. Let's head out to the phone lines and check in with Sam in Phoenix. You're up first.
Hey, Justin. Thanks for taking my call. Just a quick question. I just want to hear your thoughts. Specifically with the trade deadline, I've heard a lot of, what they've been interested in, what people have thrown out, is just getting a wing or another creator. And I guess my question to you would be, would you value more of like a creator who can now create some more offense besides just Giannis, or maybe more like a wing defender? Because I feel like defensively, a lot of teams that beat us are those wings like Miles Bridges tonight, Kneppel, and teams who play like the wing is where we need more defense and more length. And I'm just curious if you thought you valued more the offense and having someone who can create, or more someone who can be like a wing stopper.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine, and thanks for the call, Sam, we'll hopefully talk about this quite a bit in the coming weeks. The two positions or two needs specifically, I mean, as of this moment, I would say you're in more need of a wing than you are of a creator. And look, you saw the good largely tonight from both Ryan Rollins and Kevin Porter Jr., Rollins especially, but that duo, I know people can take it as a tax whenever we point out some of the turnovers from KPJ and both of these guys. Doc Rivers has been quick to point out, and it's true, we're kind of working with both on being, true point guards. In the sense of Ryan, he's more a combo guy. Kevin Porter Jr. has been a point guard throughout his career, but working through some of the kinks with him. Tonight, they were very good at creating for others, and especially in the final 10 seconds of this game. That final lob, it was a great play call by Doc Rivers, and it was good execution by both KPJ and Giannis on that. So I think you have to look at it and say, look, we're invested in this. We got Giannis. The minutes restriction is eventually going to lift, and he's ultimately our main creator. We feel comfortable and confident enough with Ryan Rollins and Kevin Porter Jr. to be those secondary guys. Kyle Kuzma's been fine at that as well, but Kyle Kuzma's been your only guy that you can kind of throw out there as the Swiss Army knife of types and say, take on some of these defensive assignments. And I think tonight, too, Kuz had some very, very good moments, especially in the third quarter defensively. He did foul out. He did commit that foul on the three-point play by Miles Bridges. But he had some moments in the third quarter, too, where he kind of proactively was just guiding this Bucks defense on where to be when the Hornets were trying to set up two-man games and get either A.J. Green or Bobby Portis or others into a pick and roll against LaMelo Ball or Con Knippel or Brandon Miller. You saw Kyle Kuzma kind of taking charge and stepping up and taking that assignment and funneling whoever it was, if it was Bobby or A.J., onto his man and saying, no, we're going to prevent this. We're going to pre-switch to make sure they can't do this. And he's been the only guy at that size you can really rely on or expect to get that from so far this season. So we still got a lot of ways to go here to get to that point. I would say at this moment, the wing is what you would look for. I think the bigger conversation is, well, who is that and who exists on that market and what's it going to cost you, right? But the bigger thing is, realistically, what are the conversations we're going to be having, right? Because that debate and that question, it may be a moot point by the time we get to February 5th because of what we said at the top of this show and because of what we talked about many, many times already this season. Like, you got to start winning games consistently, and you got to get beyond just back-to-back wins. You're going to have to get a win streak, and you're going to have to get, at this point, a lengthy win streak at that to start to climb out of the standings here, because if it's more of moving into February and we get through the month of January and the Bucks are still 5 or 6 games below 500, I don't know that you can justify making a move like that, especially if it's going to cost you future assets. And it may be more of like, we need a soft reset here. In terms of that, what I mean is look at Philadelphia this season. Look at a handful of these teams. But Philly especially is the one that I keep coming back to because of the spot they were in last year with a pretty disastrous start to the season. And the big difference, obviously, is there's been no uncertainty about Philadelphia's best player's future. And I mean, for that matter, their best player has changed over the course of the last couple of seasons. It is no longer Joel Embiid's team. It is Tyrese Maxey's team. But they got off to a disastrous start a season ago, and it was a couple of weeks from now on the calendar that Philadelphia came to the decision, it's time to pack it in. And look, the big difference between the Bucks and Sixers is they had to do it for draft pick purposes in a top 8 protected pick where it's, okay, if we finish in the bottom 4, at worst, we can only slide down to number 8, so we'll keep our pick. So that was the motive for Philadelphia. But still, you could see the way they closed out the season and said, we're shutting guys down. We're going to limit the way that, the minutes that they're playing. We're playing for that draft pick. And it netted them VJ Edgecombe, who looks like a very, very solid young player and would check a lot of boxes for the Bucks right now. But that's, again, the spot the Bucks have gotten to is because of their success and because of not only that, but some of the picks that they have made, they haven't panned out. And in the off years, they haven't had picks. So you get to this point where your roster starts to age. It atrophies when you have to get younger and move on from some of those older players, but you don't have a steady stream of young talent that you're developing and plugging into there. Even teams like Denver, when you look at some of the names that, granted, they haven't become stars, but Christian Brown was a draft pick of theirs. Peyton Watson was a draft pick of theirs. Like, these are guys they're drafting, developing, becoming role players, and ultimately starters at this point. The Bucks haven't been afforded that luxury because of some of these deals that they've made and not having first-round picks, and because some of those picks that they made just haven't panned out. You've started to find some of that. You've started to get some found money, if you will, with A.J. Green, Ryan Rollins, the trade that netted you Kevin Porter Jr. a season ago, but you need some more of that. So that's why this next month is going to be very telling for this group. Can you go on a run and start to get into that postseason picture, or is it more of the same? And if that's what it is, then I think the decision is made for you. You have your answer there. 855-616-1620. The Siding Unlimited talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. A few more calls we'll get to here coming up after this. And again, you avoided disaster tonight. I'll explain what I mean after this on Bucks Talk.
The Hardwood Homilies continue after this. This is Bucks Talk.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
What's the secret to your success?
Clean living, hard work, and no employees.
You lost me on that last one.
No employees?
Yeah.
That's the secret sizzle that makes Hasselus Mattress so popular.
How are you successful without employees?
You can give our mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Nobody talking down to me or breathing down my neck?
And with no commission-crazed salespeople in the mix, our everyday mattress prices on Beautyrest, Sealy Posturepedic, and more are way low.
How low?
Our Queen Beautyrest Elm Cove A is just $7.94.
Wow.
Plus, free next day delivery. And through Monday, get a free box spring or $300 off an adjustable base with the purchase of any Queen or King size Beautyrest or Sealy Posturepedic mattress.
Since you're a mattress store, you could say Hasselus is an overnight success.
Good one.
Thanks.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hasselus.com.
Recently, a seller that unfortunately ended up choosing another agent called me. She said she made a mistake, and what she was expressing to me sounded like she kind of was bullied into signing with him. Is it typical? Not always, but it will never happen when you hire a Century 21 Benefit Realty agent. I want our agents to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'd want to work with me. Not because they're good at saying what you want to hear or offer the lowest commission, but because of trust. Because if you're not feeling that from your agent, that's a problem, and I don't want that. At 1.9% on the listing side of your sale with our commission capped at $19,000, Century 21 Benefit Realty leads with a very fair and transparent commission structure with maximum marketing that can get your home sold fast and for the best price. And saving money matters, but working with someone who will tell you exactly what you need to know up front, that creates trust. And that matters too. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee and Waukesha. Griffin. The buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers. This is Bucks Talk.
$122 to $121, our final tonight inside a Fiserv Forum. The Bucks take down the Charlotte Hornets behind 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists from Giannis. The 30th points, 29 and 30, comes on a lob from Kevin Porter Jr. with about 5 seconds remaining. And the Bucks got some breaks, too, on that final play where they played really good defense at the inbound to force LaMelo Ball to take up nearly all 5 of those seconds to get the ball in. And it led to that ball going close to half court to Brandon Miller. That forced his momentum back and forced the Hornets to take up even more time before Miller could attack the basket, and his shot ultimately misses. So the Bucks have some better execution down the stretch, get some help as well, and they win this one tonight, 122-121. 855-616-1620 is the Siding Unlimited talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. Let's head back to the phone lines and talk with Matt in Milwaukee. You're up next.
Hey, Justin. Hope you had a nice holiday and New Year. First, best line of the night was, I can't remember if you said it or not, but someone said, if Giannis hits 30 points, probably going to win the game when there's like 4 seconds left. Love that because it actually worked out. But sorry if you just answered this. So the Bucks are obviously in a precarious position with like the noise around us, and there's also been all the talk about like quote unquote big game hunting. So let's say we go something like 7-3, 8-2 over the next 10, gets us above 500, but not by a ton. Like, what are we really willing to give up for a quote unquote like win now guy? I mean, I personally don't know who that would even be, or if there's someone worth like the small amount of assets we have, because obviously we don't have a ton. I mean, even like Kuzma, he's been playing super well at a position of weakness for us with Torian, obviously more than likely out for the rest of the year. I mean, is moving a contract like his worth what we'd even get back? I mean, especially like with the names we're connected to, all seem to be kind of guards. I'm really curious because like we're kind of in the middle right now. Great win tonight. I was at the game on New Year's Eve, which was kind of a heartbreaker, but a lot of fun to watch. Last thing I'll say about that was, I want to see Middleton do well and the Bucks win, and then Middleton didn't do well and the Bucks lost. So, is what it is. But, go Bucks. I'll take your opinion off the air. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the call. I mean, I don't know who that piece is for win now. And what I would say, too, is this isn't like any inside information or anything, but if we just look at the track record of this front office and John Horst, there's been really one time where there was, I don't know if I'd even say smoke, but there was at least some rumblings around a player, and then the Bucks ended up getting that guy. Everything else, every other big significant move, it's always kind of been a surprise, and the Bucks moving in silence. Like, we may have hoped for and wished for, like, wow, if Damian Lillard's available, man, that would be great with Giannis. You should go get him. But I think most of us realistically said, well, what's the package that the Bucks can offer to go get Damian Lillard? Same story with Drew Holiday, right? Like, I know there was a lot of, after a disappointing exit in the bubble against the Miami Heat, a lot of people, hey, this isn't working with Eric Bledsoe. Drew Holiday would be the perfect replacement for him. But that was the same story of, okay, well, show me what assets the Bucks have to go get him. And even then, you leveraged yourself with draft picks. Like, next year is when you're finally done with that trade. You have the pick swap this year, and then next year, 2027 summer, your first rounder goes to the Pelicans, and then that deal is finally done. The one guy where you started to hear some things, I don't know, is this legitimate? And then it actually happened, was last year when the Bucks got Kyle Kuzma. And I would agree with everything you said about him. I mean, Kyle Kuzma has been pretty good for the Bucks this season. It's not even to say, hey, Kyle Kuzma's been better than he was a year ago. No, he's been good for the Bucks this season, by and large, right? There have been some clunkers. There's been some bad performances. But for the most part, he's been good for you and has filled a role you don't have. And I think even if Torian Prince were healthy, I do think it's probably safe to assume you're not going to see Torian Prince again this season, just given the severity of neck surgery. And the Bucks and everyone we've talked to is kind of giving you the message of, like, just don't put your hopes on Taurean Prince coming back and bolstering the bench and giving you another small forward that you can use. So I think that's probably a safe assumption. But even if Taurean Prince was on this roster, those two guys would both be playing because that's the position of need. It's not just one or the other. So I don't know who the win now name is. And I would agree with the general assessment that, you just look at the names that have popped up the most. Like Zach LaVine, when that started to be trickling around. That isn't really the need that the Bucks have. I mean, their offense has struggled this season, but you also kind of need more of a runway with Giannis on the floor now because, in fairness, a lot of the poor offensive metrics have been you've played a bulk of your season, or at least a big chunk, without your best player and one of the best offensive players in the league. So how much of that has to do with this was a group and a roster that was constructed to play around Giannis? If you don't have Giannis, it's going to look pretty bad on the offensive end. But we've also seen inconsistency and poor play when healthy, too. So that's the challenge of where they're currently at. But just saying we need shooting and we need more help offensively, that doesn't solve the problem, right? They're still losing the math battle, the modern math battle of your possessions and your true shooting attempts. Tonight it was actually even. But up until, I think, early in the third quarter, the Hornets were were +7, I believe it was, in true shot attempts, where you take free throws, multiply it by 0.44, add that number to your field goal attempts. That is your true shot attempts in a game. It's supposed to look at, all right, what were the actual amount of attempts that you took here? If we look at free throws and we're just going to remove and ones and technicals with that 0.44, trips down the floor where a shot went up, this is what we're looking at. That's how you calculate your true shots. And they were losing badly for a big, big swing of this game. But, more than that, they have the second worst difference in true shot attempts per game versus the opponent this season. They are -4.5. So every single game, your opponent is taking 4.5 more shots than you are. With how efficient offenses are in this league, if that's the case, the opponent's going to outscore you by 7 or 8 points every single night. And that's basically what we've seen for large chunks of the season. So to me, yeah, it's beyond offense. It's you have to get more stops defensively. You got to protect the ball. Like there are a number of ways you can increase your true shot attempts. Get some offensive rebounds. Stop turning the ball over. Force turnovers. Become a better defensive rebounding team. But their most pressing needs are defense and rebounding. And a lot of the names that we've seen kicked around, not only do they just not solve that need for the Bucks, but what's the cost? Because, I mean, there's an elephant in the room here of, is this team going to look any different next season? Is it going to look drastically different? But even when you get into the offseason, there's a lot more flexibility and a lot more assets that this team has that they can add to things. Like you get to draft night, you have 3 first-round picks you could trade. You don't want to trade that for just anything, but it gives you a lot more flexibility. And again, I think teams will look at the Bucks because Giannis cannot extend until October 1st. So teams will look at you and say, yeah, we want your 3 first-round picks that you can deal here because either we don't think that guy will be here when those picks kick in, or we think he will be, and he's diminished, or you're just a bad team by then. And they've been a bad team through 30 games this season. So there's going to be an appetite for those. So we need to see more of not only what happens with this team between now and then, but what happens on the market and what are some of these other names that are becoming available. Because right now you're just seeing distressed assets that are being put out there because these successful teams in these last 2+ years are the teams that are just building from within and saying, you know what, the model is not to build super teams and combine massive max deals and super max deals all on one team. The model is to draft and develop and win cheap, right? Get young talent and get guys that can play on both ends of the floor and guys that are young and play hard. That's how you find success. So with that, you're not seeing a lot of those names that would help you in the areas we said this team needs the most assistance in. 855-616-1620. The Siding Unlimited talk and text line to join us tonight on Bucks Talk. I mentioned what would have been a disaster. It did not happen. But there were some moments in this game and just across the league tonight where you looked at this game and you looked elsewhere and you said, oh boy, this would not be good for this team if everything holds right now. The Bucks avoided disaster. I'll tell you what it is coming up after this on Bucks Talk.
This is Bucks Talk.
Heart disease won't stop us. Diabetes, allergies, cancer. Nothing will keep the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network from pushing Wisconsin ahead. We're constantly raising the bar for medical excellence and providing more ways to receive it, so you have it for all your health needs, big and small. Let's push ahead, and we'll make life here as great as it can be. Visit Freighter.com to find out how.
Start the new year right with Norwalk Furniture on sale now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 35% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options and comfort levels, from cuddling to extra firm support. Norwalk Furniture's American roots go back over 102 years. For better quality American-made upholstery, shop the Norwalk Upholstery Sale at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown. Better days start with a better night's sleep on a mattress from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in Milwaukee, our mattresses are custom built to your needs. We have all the comfort and firmness options to give you your best night's rest. Buying direct from our factory showrooms will save you up to 50% compared to national brands. Shop today during our New Year's sale at Ken Michaels Furniture for over 75 years of uncompromising quality, local factory direct saving, and your best night's sleep.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
Welcome back to Bucks Talk.
122 to 121 final score here tonight inside of Fiserv Forum. The Bucks with a much needed win against the Charlotte Hornets. But okay, now do it again, and then do it again, and then hopefully do it again. You need to piece together a win streak. Back-to-back games, back-to-back wins is not a win streak. We got to hit 3. And then we can start to dig into the standings a little bit more. But I mentioned the potential for disaster that was out there tonight. There were some sharks on the water here. You look at the two teams directly in front of you, the Chicago Bulls, the Atlanta Hawks. Both of those teams won. So you came into this game tonight and said, okay, both of these last two games especially, but this one, let's just take care of business. The two teams in front of us are playing. Maybe you can catch a break there. One of them is playing the Knicks. Another one has been not all that well. And the Bulls, they're down their two best offensive players. Let's win, and maybe we can get some help there and start this climb. Both of those teams won. And those two games were pretty well decided at the point that the Bucks were still in the back and forth game, and it didn't feel great in this one with the Charlotte Hornets. But you also had the Nets and the Wizards playing each other. And the Wizards have been playing much better of late. But had that game gone differently, and had you not won this game, a game you won by 1 against the Charlotte Hornets, with the results we saw with the Bulls and Hawks both winning, you would have been 14-21. And the Hornets would have been 12-22. a game back of you in the loss column. And if the Brooklyn Nets would have won, they would have been 11-21, tied with you in the loss column. So it was out there, potential for the Bucks to exit this night essentially with the third worst or tied with the third worst record in the Eastern Conference. That's why we keep saying you got to piece together a win streak here, because you're still in that spot where you're just as close or closer to those teams at the bottom. I mean, you're in that grouping of the teams at the bottom of the conference, but to those final 2 or 3 teams in the East, you're just as close to them potentially as you are to those teams in the play-in tournament. So step 1 is to win 1 game. Now step 2 is let's start to piece together a win streak. Very, very winnable game Sunday night in Sacramento against the Kings. That is an 8 o'clock tip-off, so we got a week ahead of us here of late-night basketball. 8 o'clock tip Sunday night in Sacramento for the Bucks and the Kings. 9 o'clock tip Wednesday night in San Francisco for the Bucks and the Warriors. 9:30 next Friday for the Bucks and the Lakers, and the road trip comes to an end 1 week from Sunday in Denver against the Nuggets. But up next for the Bucks, the Sacramento Kings. 8 o'clock tip time Sunday night. 7:30 is when our pregame coverage gets started. And as always, be sure to stick around after the game for Bucks Talk. We'll talk with you once again Sunday night.
Oh my gosh, are you okay?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Why do you ask?
Probably because you're wearing a neck brace.
Oh, that?
How did you hurt your neck?
It's from visiting with family.
What?
Every